Hello guys, welcome to my channel for a new video. So yeah, I wanted to make for you a small video on the Interregio. This is the biggest event of the year for me. More than 300 players attending this tournament. This is the biggest tournament in the French community whatsoever. And I decided to make this video in English because I think most of you are more not French speaking guys, and therefore you don't know much about this tournament. So I think it's a good occasion for me to tell you a bit more about it. And for the French speaking viewer of this video, I think it's still interesting because you will be able to hear a little bit more about my list and foremost see some army picture. But I thought, yeah, it's also interesting to show you a little bit an hobby update about how I prepare myself for this event, because this is a particular event with a very high amount of soft points. So first of all, some information. Here's the page that you can find on T3. It's called, yeah, it's a tool to manage tournament for those of you who don't know it. So yeah, the tournament is located south of Paris, more or less, and I'm living here in Switzerland, so it's quite far away for us. It's like more than 6 hours drive to go there, so not so easy to reach it. You can see here the amount of kilometer between my place and the tournament. It's not so easy to reach it, but definitely worth it, because here you see subscribed more than 300 people. It's team of 6, so format close to what you can expect at very large event like ETC, things like that. I think nowadays you don't have that much event with 6 players, and this makes the pairing process much more interesting than four players team event, for example, because the pairing process is much more interesting in my opinion. 5 rounds totally, 3 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. Painting score counting for 23% of the final rating, and then you have 3 different ranking. The first one is just the battle point, another one is just a painting point, and then you have foremost the big one is the general, which is mixing. 23% will be painting and the rest will be battle point, and this is where you can get the main trophy. But still there is a lot of people who want to score good on painting, who want, for example, to win the painting trophy. It's also really a lot of, I think it's one of those events where you have a lot of guys which are more casual gamer, who want to have a good time, see a lot of guys, see well painted model. This is a unique event where every gamer, every 9th age player can find his spot, because basically if you're not so competitive, yeah, of course you will maybe face one big team at the beginning, lose, and then you will go low and have much more interesting battle. If you want to go competitive, there are of course also several teams that want to win the main trophy. There are several side animation during the weekend, which will make this event also unique. And yeah, big shout out to Kermit, who is the key organizer of this event. He's doing amazing stuff. I let you imagine what is the amount of time that you need to invest to organize tables for this amount of people. This is the 3rd time that I will be participating to the Interregio. 2 other times were already with Team Switzerland, of course, and we feature not bad, like top 10-ish somehow, but still not on the podium. One time I think we made 4th, and one time like 8th or 9th. I think that was my how I remember about our ranking, but this time it's definitely the idea to try to go top. And we are going with a very strong team. We have Biboun, who is Xavier, the captain of ETC Switzerland, and then 4 other players of ETC Switzerland, Dim, Pollux, Andy, and then we have Thomas, and myself being the only member of the team who was not playing for Team Switzerland last year. But definitely I think a strong team. Some players who are playing army where they are not so familiar with the army, but definitely good players. So I think they will do a very good performance during the weekend. So feeling lucky myself to be able to play with these guys. We have Xavier will be playing Demon. has a very strong list. Myself with Ogre Khan, Thomas will be playing Vampire Covenant, Andy Dark Elves, Pollux of course his beloved Dwarfs, and Dim will be playing War of the Dark God. So that's it for the army. I will talk a bit more about the meta, the list, things like that, maybe in a debriefing after the event or do something like that. We'll see exactly what. But not the list haven't been released yet, so I think that wouldn't be really appropriate to go too much into details at the moment. We will see, maybe more after the event I can do a bit more analysis and debriefing that can be interesting for you to also give you the list. People who want to see the list, there will be the possibility to see it probably. So, going into my list, I decided to show you a little bit the models I prepared, the presentation board I prepared, and explain you a little bit the concept behind the list. So you saw this list already in several battles on my channel. It's always the same. I made at the beginning some small changes, hesitated a little bit between Wild Earth and this one, and I decided to stick to this one because of several reasons. But maybe first let's start with the character setup. I've put a picture of the fourth character because I've painted them myself, so I'm really happy about the result. They are looking cool in my opinion. So we have first Groth, decided to give them names to the character I think it makes the battle report much more funny in a way. I always liked Chayama that use very often nicknames for his unit. I've not given nicknames to all my units, only for the character at the moment, to make it a bit more personal when we use them during battles. So yeah, we have Groth, who will be my shaman. I've gone with Iron Fist to give him parry, of course, Ligatong, which is for me key in some particular matchup to be able to be able with the Death Star to face a lot of different things, because you can reduce the amount of attack that you will take, and then you have a good damage output with this unit, which is the Bruiser block. So it will be in every game in this unit, of course. And with Magical Heirloom, with Thaumaturgy, I think it's a perfect magical setup for this list, because you have 5 spells, you have 2 combat debuff, and 1 combat buff with the breast weapon. You have the very strong Wrath of God. So, and I think Thaumaturgy is taking, you need a lot of dice to cast spell in Thaumaturgy. So I think in this case I don't need more spell. If I would have 1 spell more, I wouldn't know where to find the dice, to be honest with you. So very good general. Weakness is the leadership 8, of course. Second character is Captain Marlon. It's this guy. I took the inspiration of the name in the Games Workshop fluff, because that's when I started the Ogre Khan, and I really loved that army book with all the names and stuff, the stories. So I read again a little bit the book and took inspiration there, or inspiration also elsewhere sometimes. But yeah, that was a little bit the origin of the names for those of you who want to know. So Captain Marlon. This guy basically is more support character. As you can see, not very fighty. He has standard of discipline, which is mandatory when you play leadership 8 Death Star. With magical resistance 1, he has a binding scroll, which is always something very, very useful in the list. And then he is just having parry as a defensive item. Only a 5-up arm save, MR1, which is not so big, but I was able to pay for a small crossbow, which was sometimes useful. You never know. And of course he's the BSB, not so expensive, decent fighter. Of course you don't want to go in a very risky fight with these 2 guys, because the Bruiser unit is very expensive. Then you have the Bruiser unit, 8 men strong. Sorry, I forgot about Mammoth Hunter, so let's go to the Mammoth Hunter. We have first Jared. Jared is this guy. Very expensive for Mammoth Hunter. I paid him Alchemist Alloy, Earth Reaper, Orc Charm, Troll Eater, Lead of the Pack. So yeah, it's I think a build that you saw many times. The special touch that I paid for was the Orc Charm. That's something that not a lot of people consider paying. Much more people use the Rampager Chain. Since I was fielding 2 giant, I didn't really had the feeling I needed Rampager Chain. I think Rampager Chain help you to stick in combat against big unit. In this case, I wanted to make one Mammoth Hunter very resilient against multi-wound. I wanted him to be able to fight also things like Omen of Savar that can be very complicated in some matchups. So I thought, why not try the Auroch Charm, which is not so expensive, makes him a bit more resilient against cannon, bolt thrower. So yeah, it's very versatile and quite solid. With Earth Reaper, you have a decent damage output and a 3-up 4-up armor save. And Vanguard with leader of the pack. A really cool looking model. I enjoyed a lot painting him. I think he's really cool looking, this guy. And then the last character is Fishgut, also an amazing model. Fishgut is wearing, is quite cost effective, less than 400 points, Basalt Infusion, Talisman of Shielding, Scoot, Spine Splitter. Basically, he's the high damage output guy. With Scout, he's able to get in good spots, small base, and then you are hitting very good when you charge. You have 6 attack strength 6 on the charge, D3 impact strength 6. So he's really good with parry, wall save against fire. So I think it's a good, you have good tools between these two guys who are a bit different, not good against the same target sometimes, but offer very much good output on the charge. And then let's move on to the units. So I will put a big picture of the army on the presentation board. I think it's, I'm really happy about how it looks like. It's not perfect, but it looks cool. I will still need to work a little bit on the wood to make it a bit darker. I think it will look much better. But still, it's quite practical presentation board, and I made it in 2 parts. Basically, I can separate it, put it together like a box, and it's very easy then to transport for tournament. I will make a separate video on that, also show you a little bit the concept of this box. But yeah, I think it's quite cool. So we have the Bruise block here in the middle. 8 men with a Pennant of the Great Grass Sky. I think Swift Stride is really key for this unit to be able to get good long charges. To have good odds of contacting your charges. So it's a good unit. They are a bit expensive. You have not that much model, but I think it's still a pretty decent Death Star. You have, as I've told you many times in Battle Report, you have to be able to figure out quickly whether or not the Death Star will be threatened by anything on the battlefield, and if yes, how to avoid it, how to manage it. Then we have 3 Tribesmen darts, so 1, 2, 3. Basically, these units are very versatile. They can be chaff, they can be... they can charge the chaff, they can move in the middle of the board to create opportunities. They can go only for scoring purposes. They are very versatile, very mobile. I like them a lot. They have decent damage output with pet weapon. They can kill a lot of stuff. So I think they are very versatile and offer me the opportunity to play a lot on the chaff game if I want to, because I can really use them as chaff, one after the other, if I need to. Then we have our 2 Keen Eater, the Toad here behind, and Crabeman here in the front. 2 Keen Eater, always, I think in this list, it's cool because I have 1 Vanguard, 1 Scout, 2 Ambushes. So you're really able to play on all the aspects of the board to put pressure in some particular part of the board where you want to put pressure. And this is really cool. So I really like both Keen Eaters. Only 1 Saber-tooth Tiger. I hadn't much point left, and I think 1 is already good. This gives the opportunity to Jared to Vanguard, and then is a good piece of chaff. We have then 2 Thunder Cannon. This is a particular aspect of the list to be able to deal, because I don't like to face a very strong character like a Scourge, like a Dragon, things like that can go into my Death Star and just kill me. So I think the cannon are key because they are able to deal with all these kind of cowboys that can be annoying for me. All these single models that you see a lot at the moment in the meta. So I think these cannon are really good, and they are not only cannon, they are chariot. They are very good to support the Death Star, because basically very often when Death Star cannot go alone against a unit, if you put 1 cannon or 2 cannon, 2 chariot as support, this can be very scary for the opponent. So I think these Thunder Cannon are a bit expensive, but very interesting because they are versatile. They can shoot and they are decent in combat, so I'm really happy about the cannons. And then we have our 2, I like the fact that I put this guy fire barely on top, and on this part a guy with great weapon, some conversion. I made some conversion along the way. I think it's looking cool to respect the fact that there is a rider on the cannon, and there is also the little scrappling that are behind. And then we have our two slave giants. The first one is the one on the right with a great weapon, a bit bigger than the other one, and this guy is wearing an iron fist. Yeah, I like how they look like. They are providing something different to the list. You have also, they are like additional, they are hunter-like in a way, because you move also 14 very good lateral movement, but you are able really to go against things like a large block of infantry where you don't necessarily want to go alone with your hunter, for example. So they are really good against infantry, especially the Iron Fist guy. I like the versatility of having one guy in Iron Fist, the other one great weapon. With the great weapon guy, you like sometimes to go forward against a unit that can strike heavily but not too much, and then threat them with a lot of strength 7 attacks. And with the Iron Fist guy, you want to fight against infantry mostly because you have a parry and you have a lot of attacks. So yeah, these two guys are also really, really great, I think, in my opinion. Cost effective, not, you see, they are, especially the Iron Fist guy is quite cheap, 100 points more than Skin Eater. So yeah, this is the list. So as you can see, you have a key block, one block with 2 characters within, so a lot of points within this unit, and the rest is all single model MSU, fast moving, very good lateral movement, a lot of single model that can combo very well in multiple charges. I can create a lot of stuff during games, I think, especially when you see opening, then you can do a lot of stuff. So yeah, really happy about the list, really happy about how the army look like. I'm curious to see how it performs during Interregio. I've done quite a bit of training with the list, so I'm really looking forward to bring all these models on the table. And yeah, that was it for the small introduction. Just wanted to tell you a little bit about this event and the army list and how I built it. I think the fact that I chose to go with a classic version and 2 cannon was mostly due to the team aspect. It's always very good in team event to have several players with war machines like double cannon, because especially at the moment with the meta, you can block some particular player. You can say, okay, you have this guy playing a Scourge, we will give you 2 players with double cannon. Which one do you want to choose, basically? So I think this is a key aspect, and at the same time, I have the tools to be aggressive. I think there are several version of this list that you can play. Some of them are a bit more shooty, some of them are a bit more combat. You can choose what you want. The Ogre book is really good, and I think the version I choose suits my playstyle really well, because I have this flexibility to sometimes be aggressive and sometimes not, and even choosing to start aggressive and then be less aggressive, or go back on one part of the board. You have this huge flexibility with most of your units that allows you to play very, very freely, which is really great. So yeah, that was it. Let me know, I didn't do yet a live on YouTube live on this English speaking channel. I did it several times on my French speaking channel, but I would also be interested to maybe talk a bit more live with you guys from my English speaking community, because I don't know most of you very well. I have had, if you see with the French community, the fact is I have a lot of exchanges, because I go to tournament, I meet people, we talk a lot, so I see who is who when people comment my video, which is not necessarily the case. So I would like to maybe talk with, I think not a lot of people leave comment under videos, and maybe some of you would be interested to participate in live event where they can ask me questions, things like that. So if you're interested, maybe I could do some kind of live shortly before the Interregio, when the lists are released, where I can show you a little bit the list of my teams, and maybe some of the list of the best teams in the event. And after that, we can continue with some question and answer if you want to know something particular about myself, about the event, about my team, or anything else. I think that could be cool to do that. I would be really happy if some of you can just leave a short comment to let me know if that would be interesting for you, just to avoid me setting up a live event and then just being with two guys online. So that would be cool. But yeah, just let me know if it's something that could be interesting for you, that then I could maybe set up something shortly before Interregio that could be cool, just to review a little bit the list and talk a bit around the list. That could be interesting. So yeah, I hope you like the video, you like my army and the names I chose for the character. And yeah, talk to you soon about other battle. Bye bye.